Good vibes are on the way.
I love the feel-good stories.
Oh, there'll be sarcasm mixed in, but that just adds to her charm.
So great. I love listening.
Welcome to Erin O'Malley's Feel Good Frequency.
Hi, welcome to Erin O'Malley's Feel Good Frequency. I'm Erin. It is so great to have you here. A couple weeks back, I ran into a friend of mine I haven't seen in a while, and oh my gosh, she was just glowing, excited, just so happy. So I couldn't wait to find out what was going on in her life that had just lit her up like that. And I thought for sure it would be something personal, but it wasn't. Much to my surprise, she is working on something professionally that is really exciting, that could change millions of lives around the world. And it really is what could be a medical breakthrough for so many people. And that is getting rid of food allergies entirely. It seems like the amount of people now that are allergic to, for example, peanuts, so very different than it was decades ago. And why is that? We don't really know the answer, or we've never been given the answer. People are just given an EpiPen and, hey, avoid this and best of luck. Well, the nonprofit that she is working with, they are changing all of that. And it's so exciting. And I can't wait for you to hear more. Regina, welcome.
Hi, Erin. Really good to be here.
Oh, it's so good to have you here. And here's the best part. I haven't seen you in a while, and I ran into you at the store. And what was so cool was that you were so excited. And when you see somebody and you haven't seen them in a while and they're just happy and glowing, you're okay, something awesome must be happening in your personal life. And I asked, what's going on? You said, it's where I'm working. I'm working for this nonprofit. And then you just started talking about it. And I went, oh my gosh, I have to have you on my podcast, because not only is this going to make the world better, but it's going to make people better, healthier, and less stressed. And this is so exciting. Please give me a little bit of background about how you got to this place, because it's like no nonprofit I've ever heard of.
Yeah, sure, Erin. I'm happy to. So you and I met running marathons
Yes.
almost a decade ago. For quite a while, I had been working as a fundraiser for a higher ed institution in Boston and loved my job. You know, it's really great to hear impactful stories from alumni. And as it turns out, I was on a donor visit in Colorado when I got the oddest phone call from a recruiter, basically saying, hey, listen, we've got this organization that's looking for a director of development, and basically they're looking to blah, 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 food allergies. And now this struck a chord with me. I've got 4 children. My third has 13 food allergies.
Wow.
So, yeah.
That's a
and
lot.
yeah, it is. It's, 3 of them are anaphylactic. The rest are pretty easy to manage. But basically, this organization, FASI, I thought that they were doing like advocacy and education, which is really important. And I've been down that road advocating for my son, making sure that the schools were compliant with his needs. However, FASI had a different approach. And essentially, they're looking to increase research and find a therapeutic cure for food allergies.
This is huge. Oh my gosh. I've never heard of anybody talking about
Yeah.
a cure for this. And
Yeah.
we all know people that have to carry around the EpiPens, that are constantly having to ask every time you go out to eat. And I think that that's got to be stressful for you too. Whenever you're going out, okay, are you sure that this is not made with, for example, peanut oil? Does it even touch it? Because so
Yeah.
many of these allergies are so bad that they'll end up in the emergency room if it's even in the same room as whatever
Exactly.
they're cooking. So, oh my gosh,
Exactly.
this is so
Yeah.
exciting.
Yeah, and a good sideline to that is the news out of California is a piece of legislation, SB 68, just passed. And this requires any eatery with over 20 locations or more, they must post the allergens on the menu. so
that's so
that
good.
families and individuals affected by food allergies have a fighting chance in terms of what they're going to order and really start to live food through joy and not fear. That's it. However, again, not a perfect solution. It's a Band-Aid because there can be cross-contamination. And I know working here at FASI, what was most impactful to me is our founders, in particular one, was the mother of a food allergy kid. She happens to be a medical doctor. And when her son was diagnosed, she was handed an EpiPen and told to avoid.
Wow.
And that's difficult. You know, kids are curious. They're looking to discover things. How do you protect them in all environments? How do you protect them at the sports field? How do you protect them in the classroom or nursery school or any of those things? So she wasn't satisfied with this, went around, found some other like-minded families, and then they sought out an individual who's probably our nation's leading expert in allergy immunology. He's down at Yale. And our founder basically said, what will it take? Why is there no research on food allergies? So Dr. Ruslan Meseltov basically told our founder, I believe that this is an interdisciplinary problem. I believe it has to do with the gut. It has to do with the skin. It has to do with your brain. And that was 10 years ago. And our founder, along with the starting, board of FASI, started fundraising. And today we support 10 higher ed research institutions that probably have a total of 21 principal investigators and at least 120 scientists that are all working on different aspects of allergic reaction, anaphylaxis, and all of the things, even eczema, because we know that's a gateway for food allergies, to kind of pull this together. Wow. And our goal is, again, to find a cure. And we don't know what form that's going to look like, but we do know that it will be agnostic, in other words, available for all allergies based on crazy things. Our scientists can get really deep in the weeds talking about the gut biome. FASI has successfully mapped the gut biome, allowing us to understand why some people have food allergies and others don't.
Yeah.
So I'm, it's my professional job, but it's my personal mission here at FASI to spread the word. And I'm so glad I saw you at the store that day.
Me too.
Because, right now we were born in Boston, over in Cambridge at the Broad Center. And I need to amplify this message because it would be life-changing for many of us.
So as far as the research, because this has been going on for 10 years, and I know that you have so many people working on it, where are you at? Are you comfortable saying maybe how close you are to finding a cure for this versus just
Sure.
the Band-Aid that we've all had and heard about for years?
Yep. Yeah. And well, as a layperson myself, not a scientist, my quick understanding has been that drug discovery takes a while.
Yeah.
And then there's, bringing it to proof of concept and then clinical trials. So right now, I'm really happy to say that this summer we were able to file 4 drug patents. So there's a path. If you were to press me, I would say we're probably between maybe 5 and 10 years away from having something available. There were 2 articles by our PIs published in Science magazine in August, which really spoke to some of the big moves that FASI has funded in terms of food allergies.
5 to 10 years to have this completely dealt with is so exciting.
Yeah.
And it's so different from anything I have heard about when it comes to food allergies. You're right. You're told that your child has a food allergy, and just like the woman that you spoke of, the founder, it is, hey, here's the EpiPen, avoid these things. Because that's the answer right now. We don't have more answers. And when I look at even just my lifespan, I don't remember being in school and having peanut butter and jelly be any sort of big deal. I don't remember any kid in my school having a peanut allergy. And now peanut allergies are so prominent. They don't even give peanuts out on airplanes anymore. I mean, it really is so dangerous. So to think of how this could truly change lives and makes it so much less stressful and fun to go out to eat instead of I need to see the chef, I need to see the menu, I need to make sure all of that is so, it's just got to be so stressful. So how exciting to think that we might in a very short few years have the answers. So cool.
Yeah, it really is. And I have to say you're absolutely right, Erin. There has been an explosion of diagnosed cases of food allergies, much more than when you and I were in elementary school.
Yeah.
One of the things that might explain this, and this is again a part of FASI that's being worked on down at Yale, would be food adjuvants. So these are particles, microparticles, other things that are now in our foods that our gut and brain cannot process, and therefore when there's something foreign that's upsetting, elimination is the way. And this is where anaphylaxis comes in.
Is that kind of like dyes that are in our food that are not overseas? And as far as you might know this too, because I'm sure that this is going to be a global kind of thing once you're really at the finish line. What about allergies in America versus other countries? Do we have more of them? Because I know that there are many countries that are not allowing certain substances to go in food, additives and that kind of thing that we have. So I am curious to see if you know statistics in other countries versus ours.
Yeah, there does seem to be an accelerated rate here in the U.S. And I can tell you when you're looking at U.S. families, it's every 3 minutes that someone goes to the ER for treatment of anaphylaxis.
Wow.
So, I mean, it's the way I've always looked at it is it's like this invisible disease because you can walk around, nobody knows that you're anaphylactic, and yet your response to certain foods could be deadly.
It's scary to think of, too. And I don't know if other people's systems work like mine. But for example, I was never allergic in my whole life to ibuprofen or aspirin until I was. And I almost died because I had a horrible migraine and I took like 4 ibuprofen. And my throat immediately started closing. I couldn't breathe. Thankfully, I was already allergic to bees, which, by the way, never was allergic until one day I was. So it's scary to think about what happens like if somebody was never allergic to shellfish and then all of a sudden they go to a restaurant and they start not being able to breathe and have hives everywhere and they don't have any other allergies, so they don't have an EpiPen. I mean, it is scary. And if you've never had a reaction like that, it is seconds that it starts and you have minutes, if that, to handle it. It's terrifying.
It is absolutely terrifying. I mean, you asked for statistics. I think globally, we're talking about 220 million people live with food allergies. And here in the U.S., it's 1 in 13 children have food allergies.
That's a lot.
So, yeah. Like in a given elementary school, that could be over 100 kids, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, it affects playgrounds, it affects classrooms, workplaces, families overall. As the mom of a food allergy kid, we know there are certain restaurants we can't go to. They serve peanuts at the table. So that would be a huge health risk for my son.
It's something that if you don't have the allergies, you just don't think about. But man, if there is anybody that you're with that has those kinds of allergies, forget it. Like you said, there are certain places straight off the bat, you can't go.
Yeah. Yep.
Wow, this really would be life-changing. No wonder you were so excited when I saw you too, because to think how close your company is, and it is a nonprofit too. This is interesting to me because I don't know that I've heard of a nonprofit that is doing any research like this and is a nonprofit. Can you tell me a little bit more about that? Because I think that's really fascinating.
Yeah. Well, again, our founder, her name is Christine Olson. She really felt that this was the best way to go. We're the only nonprofit that's driving both discovery and drug development. So it's called like end-to-end innovation. And the way we divide this up is we've got our foundational research, which is understanding why allergies happen, why some people don't. Then you move that over to translational and then ultimately the drug discovery accelerator. And why it's important to be a nonprofit is because it allows us a lot of flexibility in terms of funding. Again, food allergies overall has been largely ignored by our, I guess, healthcare system and even within the government. So this gives us the opportunity to pursue things. And a year ago, August, we were able to receive a very generous grant from the NIH, which spoke volumes. It was the first time they supported a nonprofit that were focused in food allergies. So
Oh my gosh.
we know
that
we
is
have the
cool.
NIH behind us. Yeah.
Wow. Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
that's really exciting, especially when you see how many different establishments are getting funding pulled these days. To have
Yeah.
it granted is really exciting.
Yeah. 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 And I guess, the way we look at it is like, we're not just funding science, we're building it. And, I feel incredibly grateful and lucky to be amongst some of the top clinicians and researchers and PhDs in this field. Some of them located here in Boston, some of them are down in Connecticut or in Arizona. Like we're at a lot of major research institutions, which speaks to, I guess, just the intellectual capital that FASI has pulled together. And FASI, I don't even know if I said this, stands for the Food Allergy Science Initiative.
Oh, yeah, you didn't say it. I was going to ask you what that stood for. I like that. And I don't know why this has not been studied more, researched more. I don't know that there are companies working on this, especially not the way that yours
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
The solution is exciting
Exactly.
to think that it's not about, dragging that EpiPen everywhere you go.
Exactly.
You can go to the beach and it's okay if you forgot it. You don't have to turn all the way around and go home and get it. It's just
Exactly. Yeah.
things like
Yeah.
that, little things like that you don't think of that are going to make
Yeah.
people's lives so much better and easier and less stressful, especially kiddos, because they're curious. They want to know what something tastes like, even if they are told they're allergic to it.
Yeah. And I mean, it harkens back to that day that I was in Colorado and received the call from FASI for this opportunity. And quite frankly, you mentioned this. Why hasn't there been more focus? Well, there's been a lot of advocacy and education organizations that have been quite successful. We're coming upon a really big holiday the end of this month, Halloween, and one of these organizations put forth the Teal Pumpkin Project, which means if you go to a house with a teal pumpkin, this means they have allergy-friendly foods or treats available, and that's been great. But back when I was in Colorado and I got this phone call, here was the turning point for me. FASI's approach has been proactive as opposed to reactive. And for me, again, as a mom, that moves the needle.
Yep. Big time. That is such a great way to explain it too, because even people that have no idea about food allergies, don't really understand how severe they are, to hear this company is proactive instead of just, yep, this exists and here's what you can do to live with it.
Yep. And that's why I am working for FASI. Is philanthropy basically fuels our science directly. And we are so, so grateful that every dollar that is raised goes directly to research. Overhead is covered in another area. So this way, when I am speaking with someone who, has capacity and wants to support us, I can proudly say 100% of their gift is going towards the research to build the science to get to a therapeutic cure.
And obviously, it's already gone really far for you to be so close to the answers. I mean, clearly you are making the most of every dollar that the company receives because you're seeing the results. And that is Wow, it's so exciting. And I love the fact that the founder is a mom who was
Exactly.
like, this is not okay. We're going to find
Yeah.
answers. Because I'm telling you, and that's one of the reasons I think you're so excited about it, because
Exactly.
you're the mom of a kiddo that deals with this too. So it's like,
Exactly.
leave the moms. Moms
Exactly.
will handle it. I swear to
Yep.
God, if it's up to the moms, we could get world peace
Yep.
tomorrow. Moms get it done.
Yeah, yeah. And I will clarify. So the 4 patents we have filed doesn't mean that we found a cure. It's a shot on goal. And that's the way pharmaceutical development works.
Oh,
so
sure.
we need many shots on goal. It's exciting that we have 4, and we need probably 4-fold, if not more.
But you're already seeing that. And that is,
Yeah.
it's almost like, I mean, for a very raw example, if you're really trying to stick to an eating regime and a workout regime, you're doing it, and then suddenly those 5 pounds are gone. It's like, oh, okay, I still have more, but those 5 pounds have given me the initial excitement and jolt to continue on, because I know now that I have this. So it's just one piece of the puzzle, a big piece that's going to inspire me to keep going to get to the next. When you feel that there's some progress being made, it just automatically makes you want more.
Yeah. And again, it's this setup, right? So we've got Dr. Messeltoff, who's at Yale, and then we have all of these other PIs, like at Rockefeller University, at Harvard, at ASU, and they meet together twice a month. And they have this science meeting. They're all working on different things. Some are specializing in skin, some are neuro. And this is how we found out there's a gut-brain connection. Well, so each meeting, someone presents finding science. And this is where the magic happens, because you've got this scientist who's in Arizona, and she's speaking about some of the pieces that she's uncovered. And then there's a gentleman over at Harvard. They've never met face to face, but he now understands some of her work because they're on the same team, if you will, extended collaborative team. And he'll say to her, hey, let's chat offline. I think what you've discovered will play in nicely with what I'm working on. And it's 2 totally different parts of allergies.
That is really cool. And that
it
is
couldn't
how
happen
you make
naturally.
progress. Yes,
Yeah.
that's how you make progress, because it's
Yeah.
not all these people working for all these different places that never connect. But when
Yeah.
you have, like you said, different parts of the body that are dealing with these allergies, and then you get the experts together, that's how you move forward.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is where the magic is. That is a great explanation.
And that's it. Like, at FASI, all of any egos or assumptions about others are checked at the door. And these scientists are just fantastic, the way they collaborate and play off of each other's energy and vibe. So that's, that is what FASI is. It's like bold science and bold partners.
Yes, that's exactly what it sounds like.
Yeah.
I remember once, many years ago, Jerry Seinfeld was like, we don't have cures for things, but somebody figured out how to make seedless watermelon. So, congratulations.
Exactly.
We all got sick of spitting. So
Yeah.
thank you for that. How have we gotten so far in certain things and not the really
Exactly.
important ones?
Yeah. To me, it's a conundrum. I remember when my son was about, oh my gosh, 1.5 years, and we were handed our first EpiPen. And I kept thinking, like, this can't be the end game. I can't be vigilant for the rest of this can't be it. There's got to be more.
Yeah.
And here I am, fast forward. It was 1 year ago, Wednesday, that I started at FASI, and it has been the wildest ride. I have seen so much progress in the science that I invite anyone that is dealing with food allergies to check out our website, join our social media, give me a call. It's exciting, Erin.
Yeah. So tell me, what is the website?
Food Allergy Science, all one word, .org.
Perfect. Foodallergyscience.org. And it's a .org because it's a nonprofit, which I
Correct.
absolutely am blown away by. And I love the fact that also allows you to get more funding for something that is really going to change millions of lives
Yeah.
in 5 to 10 years. If you had to do an estimation, 5 to
Yeah.
10 years, that's massive. No wonder you're so excited.
Yeah, it is. And, I think this may even lead to other opportunities, whether it be seasonal allergies or intolerances. When we talk about these adjuvants, I don't think they're going away, although the current Health and Human Services secretary is in favor of removing these things from our foods, but we have a long way to go.
Can you, in layman's terms, give me an example of that?
Yeah.
Is it plastics? Like
it could be.
Okay.
It could be, anything that is in something that, in this case, I'm using it in terms of food allergies, is not recognized by the body.
Okay. Things we can't pronounce, probably.
Yep, a lot of that.
Oh my gosh. Well, I am so excited for your future, for the future of this company that is making huge strides and going to continue to do that. And please keep us posted, because I want to know about the progress, and I love seeing you so excited. And now I truly understand why. It's really lovely when you see somebody that you care about be so excited about work. That's a pretty big rarity. So I'm so happy for you.
Yeah, I've never imagined myself 8:00 at night on a Friday sitting on the couch working. And yet I am, because it's inspiring to be able to interact with people who believe in our mission and know that we are working hard to get to the finish line.
Yeah, you're doing something that hasn't been done, and that in and of itself is so admirable. And I am, like I said, excited to hear about what happens in the future, and please keep me posted.
Of course, Erin. And I, on behalf of FASI and our CEO, Carlos Bosquez, I really want to say thank you to you and the Feel Good Frequency for allowing us to amplify our voice. Again, as a nonprofit, I don't even have a budget for advertising, so.
Oh, neither do I. But I get it.
Yeah.
And I'm happy to pass this along. And there are so many parents, especially out there, that are going to be relieved to know that people are actually working on this instead of just handing out EpiPens, which, by the way, not cheap. And especially if you're hurting on insurance and things like that, that's a whole other aspect of it. To be able to have that go away, what a miracle. That would be remarkable.
Exactly. Yeah, that is the goal.
I will actually say that will be remarkable, because I know it's going to happen.
Yeah.
Not that would be. That will be.
Yeah. And hopefully the next time I'm on this podcast, I'm unemployed, because FASI has done it.
Yes. I'm not going to ever cheer for anybody to lose a gig, but for this, yes, I would be very happy with that. We'll find you another one, but I'm very looking forward to that for sure.
Sending all the love to your household.
Thank you, Regina. It was really great to catch up with you, and I am cheering so loudly for this entire nonprofit that you are part of and all of the great work that you guys are doing. Keep it up. Can't wait to see what happens 5 years from now. I'm going within 5. I just feel like they are so close to a breakthrough with food allergies and just stopping them altogether. Can you imagine if you have dealt with that, or you know somebody that deals with it? It really is a humongous problem. It's a big deal, and it's just a shot that you got to carry around with you everywhere, in the hopes that whatever you're allergic to isn't somehow cross-contaminated with whatever you've just ordered in a restaurant or somebody else near you has gotten. It's just, it'd be remarkable to have all of that stress just go away because of these great people that are working on a solution, not just a Band-Aid, which is what we need so much more of in life. Which also brings me to the Feel Good Frequency. Do you know somebody who is making the world a better place? Let me know about it. And I've said this many times, but it's so true. I feel like people are way more willing to complain about things, or to reach out and be like, this is something that's bothering me, versus this is something terrific. And we need to change that. I know the old saying, good people don't have to tell you they're good people, but lately you do. You do. There's nothing wrong with it. We would love to have you on and just highlight whatever great thing you are up to that's making the world a better place. ErinO'Malley'sFrequency.com. It's ErinO'Malley'sFrequency.com. Thank you so much for joining me. Have a great week. Bye.